All right, so tonight, we're not just explaining science. No, we're going to tell a ghost story. This one's about a monumental dream, a machine that was supposed to hunt for the mind of God itself and the hollow tomb it left behind. So let's descend into the darkness together.
And like any good horror story, this one starts with a question. A question about a project that was just so advanced, so incredibly ambitious, that the way it just suddenly died, it feels unnatural, right? Was it really just about the money? Or did we maybe stumble onto something we just weren't meant to see?
The thing is, the ghost in this story, it has a physical form. It's real. Deep down under the flat, kind of boring soil of Waxahachie, Texas, it's just waiting. It's this concrete tomb, big enough to drive a truck through, and it just stretches from miles and miles in the dark. And get this, it's slowly, silently filling with water.
So this is where our story really begins, with this colossal wound in the earth. You could almost call it a monument to a future we just threw away.
I mean, look at this. This wasn't just some pipe dream on a napkin. No way. This thing was designed to hold the world's most complex machine. A U.S. president approved it. It was funded with billions of our tax dollars. They had already started building it, and then, boom! In 1993, it was just abandoned. They sealed up the tunnels, walked away, and just let it flood. Can you believe that?
So to really get why this dead project is so haunting, we've got to go back in time. Back to a period of really intense competition, right? A time when figuring out the secrets of the universe, well, that was the ultimate prize in a new kind of arms race.
And what were they racing for? Well, it was a hunt for something some people called the God particle. But honestly, I think ghost particle is a way better name. The Higgs boson. It was this theoretical missing piece of, well, everything. The invisible thing that supposedly gives mass to all the other particles. And to catch a ghost like that, you can't just use a net. No, you have to build a trap of almost unimaginable power.
And the ambition here was just staggering. I mean, look at the comparison. Europe, with CERN, they were already building a really powerful machine, the LHC. But the US, they didn't just want to compete. They wanted to totally dominate. They proposed the superconducting super collider, the SSC. It was designed for 40 trillion electron volts. That's a level of energy that would make everything else look like a kid's science project. This wasn't just a race, it was a power move.
And you know what President Reagan said when he approved it in 1987? He just said, "Throw deep." That's it. Throw deep. Think about that. That's not a careful, measured approval. That's a bold, almost reckless command. A massive gamble to unlock the very secrets of reality itself, no matter what it cost.
And just like that, with that command, the ground in Texas started to shake. You have to understand, they weren't just building a lab here. It was like they were waking up some kind of giant from under the earth.
Okay, let's talk about the sheer scale of this thing, because it's mind-blowing. First, the size of the ring they were planning? 54 miles around. 54! You could literally fit the entire island of Manhattan inside of it. Then you've got the price tag. The first budget was $4.4 billion. That's billion with a B. A number that huge is basically a statement of national priority.
And to build it, they needed land. 16,000 acres of it. They bought up homes, moved families. A whole chunk of Texas was basically reshaped for this machine.
And listen, this wasn't just talk. This was real. They actually dug 14 miles of that tunnel before everything went sideways. The giant, it was really starting to take shape.
And then, just as fast as it all started, it was over. They killed the giant before it could even open its eyes.
So what happened? Well, the whole thing just fell apart with brutal speed. You see, the project got approved in '87 with that $4.4 billion budget, but by 1991, the Cold War was over. Suddenly, that big geopolitical reason to win the science race, it kind of evaporated. Then, the cost just ballooned. By early '93, the estimate had shot up to a terrifying $12 billion. All of a sudden, its biggest supporters were gone, and its enemies, well, they smelled blood.
And that was it, the final nail in the coffin. In October 1993, Congress held the final vote, and the project was canceled. The dream was dead. And what's so wild is that it wasn't about the science, There was no big debate about what we could discover. It was just politics. Cold, hard, simple math.
And this wasn't a gentle, phased shutdown. Oh no, this was an execution. They ordered a hard, immediate stop. Thousands of scientists and workers, some of the smartest people on the planet, were fired, just like that. Millions of dollars worth of custom equipment was sold off as scrap metal, and then, for the final, kind of chilling move, they just turned off the pumps. They let the tunnels flood. They didn't just abandon it, they actively buried it.
And that brings us to the most haunting part of this whole story. It's not just about what they built and then left to rot. It's about what we lost, what we might have lost forever. Just look at this comparison. The machine we buried, the SSC, was going to be 54 miles around with 40 TeV of energy. The LHC, which Europe built 20 years later, it's 17 miles around and only gets to about 13 TeV. It's not even close. The LHC finally found the Higgs boson in 2012, which was amazing, but the SSC, it was on track to find it in 1999. We lost more than a decade of progress. Just gone.
And you know what? Finding the Higgs was just supposed to be the warm-up act. The SSC, with all that power, was built to hunt for even bigger, stranger things. I'm talking about concepts that could change everything we know. Evidence of dark matter, clues about something called supersymmetry, even the existence of extra dimensions. These are all things the LHC is probably just too weak to ever see. It's like we had the key to a whole new reality in our hands, and we just threw it away.
You know what physicists call it today? The greatest what-if in history. That's powerful. It's not just a mistake or a failure to them. It's a ghost that hangs over every new discovery, a constant reminder of what we could have known.
And today, the final insult, really. Those massive buildings that were supposed to witness the birth of new universes, they're now used by a chemical company. The place where we were supposed to unlock the secrets of creation is just an industrial site. And meanwhile, beneath it all, the tunnels just sit there, empty, dark, and slowly filling with water.
We literally dug a hole to find the secrets of the entire universe, and then we just buried it. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? We decided the financial cost was too high, but what's the cost of not knowing? What secrets are still down there, waiting in the dark, because we decided to just walk away?